give me a link in the settings. No.
You mean the link to the broadcast once we're done?
No. Now I went to send it out on Facebook.
Oh, there's a link in my Facebook status
Okay.
yesterday. You can just steal that.
All right.
And for our viewers, welcome to Sideeye in the City, episode 2. I'm your host, Tamika. Hi. I have my camera above my laptop, so if you all wonder why I'm looking down, I'm looking at my laptop and my camera's above me. So just didn't want you all to think I had gone Looney Tunes. Anyway, I'm Tamika. Welcome. I'm going to introduce my co-hosts. I have Miss Sydney
Hello.
and Miss Sunny.
Hello.
Welcome. Yay, episode 2, guys. We made it. Barely. Yeah. Everything okay, Sydney? You look frozen.
I'm sending out a link. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm interneting while hanging out.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That sounds like fun. Let's see. Yeah, I'm working as we're talking too, and I'm going to try and get our Q&A functionality working
Mhm.
as soon as I can find it. There it is. Opening Q&A. Okay, so should we get any viewers, which right now we don't have any, but should we get any, they should be able to ask us questions in real time.
Oh, nice.
So, how did you guys, what's new with you guys? How did you all do your New Year's Eve? How was your New Year's Eve?
Go ahead, Sancha.
Well, mine consisted of going to church, amen, and just coming in and enjoying the television and just chilling. So I would say this New Year started out with just inspiration and just taking a little time just to relax and enjoy and be grateful.
Awesome. Okay. Very, very good. What about you, Miss Sydney? What did you do special? I was looking on your timeline. Looks like you had a ball.
I too started with church. I went to church first as tradition in my family, and then I went to a couple house parties to see some good friends, and some people were a little more far gone than others, so that was interesting. And then I was too tired and just went home. I was like, I have to go lay down. I have to go be still. So
No problem. Awesome. Well, I mean, I didn't do anything nearly as exciting. I just kind of spent the night at home reflecting, had a little glass of wine at midnight, and I think I watched Netflix. So nothing too fancy at all, just sort of reflecting on the past year, which wasn't so great. So I guess I wasn't really in a party mood. And oh, we have a viewer. I'm so excited. Welcome, viewer. Hi. Don't be rude, guys. Say hi to our viewer.
Oh, hi, yeah, that's fine. I'm not mad about you saying hi to the viewer.
Awesome. Well, I guess we're going to kind of freestyle it this week, just reflecting on the year past and projecting on the year forward. I think Miss Sunny had our first topic about, was it resolutions, or go ahead and take it away, Miss Sunny.
Well, no, mine's pretty much on now that we have set those resolutions. Now it's time to put them in action. So I found some really great things, while I was making my vision board that I stole from Essence.com and Essence magazine. So one of the things that they talked about mainly, and I think is very important for women, regardless of color, is going to be working on your finances. So if you get an opportunity, go to Essence.com. They have this in their finance, and I think it's Money and Power. They have an article, Join the 2015 New Year's Financial Revolution. And what I liked about that, it was simple things that you should be going by on a regular, but just kind of giving us that reassurance that, okay, whatever happened in your past years, actually look and focus on how can you be better and do better in 2015 with your money. So it's almost like saying stop living paycheck to paycheck, which I'm going to have to say I'm part of that crew. But I'm looking at how can I look at my money differently in 2015 as and pretty much be encouraged to set things aside and kind of like look at things differently. So some of the things they offered were, looking at your bank provider and seeing if they have the program called Keep the Change program, where they pretty much, Bank of America does this one, and say if you spend so much, they'll round up to the nearest dollar and put that aside in the account. So almost looking at how can you earn from your current accounts and also start saving, putting money back for rainy days, for just whatever may come up, so you're not having to be reliant on credit. The other great one that I found that they also have in this article is couponing. This is something that's not everybody's cup of tea because it's time consuming. But I will say in 2014 I tried it, so in 2015 I'm actually going to try to go and be more involved with going to the grocery store and purchasing the things that have coupons and things that I can really see value in. Reducing bills, cutting corners, instead of having a whole bunch of channels, just kind of get your basic channels that you need, and just kind of figure out how can you save and cut money from that. It also talked about going and dining out, which I think a lot of us have that problem, where we are always going out for group activities, spending $40 to $50 before we think about it with drinks and food. So now how can we cut that in half and be realistic in the sense of, instead of spending so much, go to maybe use a Groupon when you go out to those activities. Or they suggested other sites like halfoffdepot.com and scoutmob.com, just kind of help save a little money here and there so you can still enjoy your social life, but also be realistic in your spending. And doing a 90-day cash and track challenge. So for 90 days, set yourself up where you can only use money that is in cash form versus just sliding your debit or credit card. And this will keep you from just getting all the things that you want. You'll actually start looking at the perspective of the things that you need. So I'm not going to try it this month, but next month I may start my 90-day challenge and let you know how it goes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. That's good. I want to add to that, not having read the Essence article, and full disclosure, a couple years ago, though, I did take this financial freedom class at my church through Crown Financial, and I think Dave Ramsey has a very similar style of financial freedom, and it teaches you how to be debt-free, and they have really good. It's oh shoot, it has
okay.
a very specific name, but it's by Crown Financial, and I think it's Biblical Finance something or another. Girl, I can't even remember the name. That's terrible. I still have the workbooks and everything, but I use a lot of their principles that I learned in that. And in fact, for a while, I was debt-free. And currently, I'm still debt-free outside of my student loans, which I'm working to pay off as soon as possible. But I think it's worth it if people really want to say, okay, this year I'm going to get my finances in order, to take a financial class. You have to pay for it, of course, but it's also an investment in yourself. And we're adults. We should have a budget. You should know what your goal is to spend every month for groceries, what it is to spend for gas. Maybe not down to the cent, but you should know I shouldn't spend more than X number of dollars on groceries. And if you spend $500, it's not like, oh, what happened to that money? You should be able to track it. And the cash thing works for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for me. I use cash and don't even know where it goes. So I on purpose don't carry cash with me because I don't know where it is. And I'm extremely conscious of because I do use my credit card for everyday spending, but I also pay it off at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. And I know, okay, I spent $26 on gas today. I spent $11 on lunch, which means I can't buy lunch for 3 more days because I can only eat out twice a week. And I already ate out once, and the week is over in 3 days, so I have to wait till Monday before I eat out. So I have to be very particular, not so much particular, but very intentional about planning my meals, that kind of thing. And I feel like as an adult that's something you should have, and for people to be like, well, not everybody has that. You need to go and get it. It's time that you go and get it, so because people spend their money on whatever it is they want to spend it on. I mean, if they want new shoes, if they want a new car, if they want RAMs, they want a system, whatever it is, they want to buy movies, they want to buy PlayStations and video games, they go spend their money on stuff they want. So if you want to be financially free, you spend your money on that.
Yeah. But isn't it beautiful that we can only, I mean, when you said you spent $26 on gas, isn't that beautiful to say that?
That's true. Because I was looking at what I spent on gas this month, and my first fill up, not this month, but December, my first fill up of December was $58.
Woo, I'm telling you.
And I was like, dang, I'm spending that much money on gas.
Blessings are flowing.
Golly. Gas got out of control there for a bit.
Yeah, it did.
All right, can you all hear me? I
Yeah.
don't think the camera is working.
No, it's working. I can see you and hear you.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Sorry. Okay, so what do you all say? Because that's one of my goals this year too, is to be more specific with my budget. But I find that budgeting, when you don't have much disposable income, can be kind of a challenge. So
I will tell you this, because when I started, I didn't have a job. When I took the financial freedom class and I didn't have a job, I was like, Lord, I'm taking this and I'm knowing that you're going to provide. And it did. Like, the class was 8 weeks long, and in week 7 I got a job, which was a blessing in of itself. But one of the things they tell you in the class is that you make a budget because it's what you get to spend your money on. You're the one who decides how much money you're going to spend towards whatever. So I know I do like to buy movies and collect movies. I used to have a crazy out of control habit of just buying whatever because it was cheap. So I had to curb my habit. So I had to say specifically I'm only going to buy special editions and limited editions and Criterion Collection movies. And I'm only going to pay X number of dollars for them. So that cut it down to buying like a quarter of what I used to buy. So it's like if I'm going to spend $50 a month on movies, that goes in my budget. Now, I can't also spend that $50 2 times over. I have to make a decision where I'm going to spend that $50. But if I say I get to spend it on movies, then I get to spend it on movies. It's not about limiting your money. It's about putting it where you want it to go. So, yeah, even having a limited income, you go back and you look at what you spent your money on. So if it averages out that you spent $200 a month on gas, then make your goal to spend to be $200 or $175 every month or $225, whichever make it in there.
Yeah.
So just look at what you actually spend your money on.
And I like to add, it's almost like I've had to tell a lot of friends no, that I can't go and do this with them, or I can't go do happy hour. It's like I saw a tremendous amount of money come into my home once I stopped with the excessive amount of social life. Once I kind of like just prioritize and say, I'll meet you once a month. We all gather at one time, so be ready to talk. Because after that, but I just felt like when I started to look at the receipts and how much I was spending on, even if it was happy hour, you can still find yourself spending an excessive amount of money that could actually be going towards paying something off. So I find that also taking that into consideration. I've also seen a lot of my friends around me pick up side hustles, things that they thoroughly enjoyed, but that also included them making some form of profit. So I hate to say it, but we may now be in that age as women. If you don't have 2 incomes, you're going to have to start learning how to make 2 incomes.
Yeah.
I know one of the things my cousin Christina has been telling me a lot about is this app called You Need a Budget. I think it's on iPhone and iPad. And supposedly it's supposed to be really helpful in getting a person organized with their finances. And if I understand it correctly, because I haven't used it myself, you basically you budget, you put things into different pockets, so to speak. So like you have so much that you can allow to spend on, say, food, and so much on entertainment, so much on gas, et cetera, et cetera. And basically like the app, I don't know if it's connected to your accounts, but it tracks those for you. And so basically it won't allow you to take from one, but once you've expended your budget, it doesn't allow you to go past that. And so she's been really telling me a lot about it and really excited about how good it works. Do you guys have any digital tools that you use?
I downloaded a lot. I just didn't use them. I got a lot of stuff in there talking about budgets, but I never really made them work for me.
Okay.
Something a while back, but it got to be inconvenient, so I stopped using it and just started like kind of mentally tracking stuff, which was kind of bad for a while because then I got into some credit card debt and had to pay it off. And so now I'm looking for another tool, but I used Mint, which allowed you to hook up your different bank accounts and credit cards. So it had like all your financial things there, and you could track across all those different platforms. The thing was, it wasn't always accurate in being able to assign transactions to certain things. So like if I went to Kroger to get gas, it wouldn't necessarily put the Kroger fuel one in the gas thing. I had to go and manually encode that to take it out of groceries and put it in the gas. And because I don't buy gas that often, it wasn't like a whole bunch of transactions. But sometimes it'd be like, I know I didn't go to 7-Eleven 8 times. What was all this? Did I get? It was like, oh, 3 of these were coffee. So after a while, it got to be just more work than I wanted. So I stopped using it. So I'll have to look for that one. It's called You Need a Budget. I'm going to look it up right now.
It's called You Need a Budget. And she's also called it YNAB, which is the initials or the acronym for it. So. But yeah, it comes highly recommended from my family, if that means anything.
It looks like it's also on Android.
Oh, okay. So, all right, multi-platform. Yeah. Very cool. And we have someone giving us questions. Hello, viewer. All right. Now, Miss Sydney, what did you want to talk about today?
I'm a big person on setting reachable goals and also taking advantage of the new year to, like, set. You can call them resolutions, you can call them goals, whatever. You can call them, whatever you want. Your side project or your friend, whatever. Words of wisdom to follow for the year. But I'm a big fan of taking the time to reevaluate your actions from the previous year and what you're going to take from that to go into the new year. Because I like to be intentional about my life and not just reactionary, but choose my actions to line up with some of the things I want in life. So for the first time ever, I made a vision board, or at least I started to make the vision board. I've been working on it all day. Still haven't completely finished it yet. But I did write down my goals for the year. So I actually wanted to make 2 vision boards. One for things I want to embrace, and then one for things I want to release. And so the things on my embrace board are I want to embrace my body and a better self-image. I want to embrace travel opportunities and talking to strangers. Accepting my creativity and expressing that creativity. Just being stronger and healthier in mind and body. Really taking time to listen. And making the choice to make myself important, because I don't always do that. And reading more books.
Oh, okay.
And some of the things I want to release are negative self-talk, doubts, fear of what might be, being disappointed in myself, hurt, anger, and expectations that don't belong to me.
As it could.
So, ladies, what do you see for yourself for 2015?
Sunny, you want to go first, or you want me to go first, or?
You go first, because I'm going to plug a company real quick after.
Okay. I guess for 2015, what do I see for me? Getting it together, I guess, professionally and financially. This podcast was sort of, in my mind, sort of the first in a series of steps that I'm taking this year to really go after what I want. I don't know if this is, well, I'm pretty sure that other people go through this, but I know in the last several years I've spent a lot of time doing what I have to do
Mm-hmm.
and not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like just sort of taking a job just to,
Make ends
keep
meet versus having a career.
Yeah.
exactly. And unfortunately, those ends never seem to meet. Like I don't think my ends have ever met each other. I don't know about y'all ends, but mine don't. So this year, I'm really trying to make it my year of doing what I want. And sort of making it all come together. And so this podcast was sort of the first step in a series of steps that I'm taking in that direction. I guess one of my goals for 2015, actually a pretty big goal, is to let go of some regrets. This year I lost someone, I mentioned this on the last podcast, that meant a lot to me. And in the last few years I've lost several people that meant a lot to me, and I have some regrets as far as, again, just with my finances, not being able to travel to see them before they passed. And so I'm trying to, well, I'm not going to lose it, but I'm trying to let go of that regret for 2015. So that'll be a big, I think, goal for me, is just to kind of leave that behind in 2014 and really move forward with getting it together for 2015. So I don't know. Can that be a goal? I'm not even sure that can be a goal. Can that be a goal?
Absolutely. And if you lose it, girl, lose it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not one of those pretty criers, so.
But I'm gonna tell you, I know where you're coming from in that sense, because I'm someone who lost my mother at a fairly young age, but not that young. And I'm gonna tell you that grieving process, you gotta let it happen. And you also have to, don't blame yourself, but know what God had for them is for them. But how you need to look at it is find a positive in every negative. That's been my thing for a very long time, and that's helped me kind of like grow and have a better understanding, and also remembering what you had with that person while you had them. I think that's very important. Is sometimes we look at all of the negative, but when I started to see all of the positive and spending that time with my mom, it outweighed those negatives. So I think, and what you're talking about is something, if we are honest, a lot of African Americans don't grieve like we need to grieve.
Right. Like I almost feel like there should be a class on that or something.
And there are classes, and I'm going to tell you, and that's why I feel counseling is very important. I'm going to be honest, because I hope it helps someone. I've done the counseling. I've done some classes. And what I found was I wasn't by myself. And I think that's sometimes what we go through when we grieve. But we have to remember that you have to grieve. And however you choose to do it, it's okay. And know that there is someone out there who has your back that's going to hold you up through it. So never feel alone. And if you feel like you have people there that you can talk to, always take advantage of just getting it out, because it's so refreshing. It really is. And then you can be able to move on and enjoy what you had versus what you don't have. So I think for 2015, I pray that you find that place in your heart where you can just rejoice those individuals and never feel that regret.
Yeah, I think Sancha hit the nail on the head there when she says that we don't like to talk about, as Black people, we don't like to talk about getting mental health help.
It's important.
And it really is.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, grieving is a big part. Grieving is a big part of relationship building, because that's part of a relationship. I mean, relationships come to an end either because the person leaves you and you don't see them again, or because they do pass away, and that it's unfair to make the assumption that this is something we don't do as a people, and then you yourself are in pain and hurt and can't get past that to build other relationships. Right. And that's not just with like mother-daughter family relationships. That's also, I think, with romantic relationships, and that's why so many people have broken relationships, because they don't want to talk about it, or at least deal with it. Even if they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to deal with it. And I'm unashamed to say that my family had some problems, and we needed to have some family counseling. And what that did for me, because I'm the youngest, so I just remember it from my perspective, being like, what are we doing in this office talking to this guy? But what that taught me was to be emotionally literate and to know that when I was angry, I wasn't necessarily angry. Sometimes I was embarrassed. Sometimes I was frustrated. And sometimes I was sad and hurt. And just to know when to recognize those signs, to know what my next action should be. And like you said, we don't discuss those things. We like to pretend like these aren't things that happen to us.
Right. Okay, I like that emotional literacy. I guess I never thought of it of grieving as a skill.
No, I don't know about so much skill as an action you're going to do. So you should be aware of that process of doing that, and then accept that, take it in, and then let it out, and then move on. Because if you, I'm a big believer in that. You should recognize where you are, or recognize a thing for what it is. So whether it's grieving, whether it's angry for being angry, or anger because you're hurt, accepting that that's where you are. Whether somebody else says you don't have a right to be angry, don't listen to them. You have a right to feel whatever feelings you're feeling.
Yes.
But you then have to take that and make a conscious decision to do something that works for you to move on. If you never deal with the fact that you're angry about your parents picking your sibling over you when you were 10, and then you don't know why you can't have a conversation with your parents ever again that doesn't end in like you blowing up and leaving, then I don't feel like you ever really got over that. Even if that's not what really happened. That's from your perspective, that's what happened. So you have to deal with that and then move on.
Okay. I got you. Looks like we got a question from a Fall Mister. He asked if I was okay. Yes, I'm okay. I'm good. So thank you for your question, and yeah, I'm doing good and moving forward. So, can you all see the questions on your screens, or?
I don't see questions.
You can't see them? Okay. I'll show you guys how to open up the app. But yeah, we got our first question, and I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Thank you for your concern. Okay. So let us go ahead and move forward to our next topic of what is going on. Well, first I saw this article on The Root, and it was about 6 power women who drove conversation forward in 2014. And it's kind of part of the whole Black Women Are Magic series. So let me open it up and see if I can click on it, because it had some pretty, oh, there we go. All right. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite women of color in 2014. All right. So the first person that and this is in Black Enterprise, and it's decoded 6 power women who drove culture in 2014, and it was posted. I believe it was posted on December 22nd, so last week. Last week? Yeah. So the first person they have, and my article just disappeared, I apologize. Okay, so the first person they have is the TV trailblazer, Shonda Rhimes. Do I detect a note of disdain there, Miss Sydney?
Not at all. I watch How to Get Away with Murder.
I live for scandal.
Okay, so all right.
Yeah.
Bet. Okay, so let's talk about How to Get Away with Murder for a second. What do you all think about that show?
Confused.
I like it. I'm one of those people that can always tell, like, 20 minutes into the show that, oh, that's the person who did it, or oh, check it out, oh, girl's gonna be the one who planted that thing. I'm always that person, so anytime a show can like throw me off or have me asking a question at the end of it, I'm down. I'm good. I'm up for that, because I don't like it when people like pretend or like to act like their audience is stupid. Don't pander to me. So I'm up for it. I don't watch Scandal. I chose not to, and everybody else was 3 seasons ago when it came on, and everybody else was like addicted to it. I was like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to be addicted to another show.
That's one of those shows that's really polarizing. Like, people actually tend to love it or hate it.
Hey, yeah.
So why did you? I guess what doesn't appeal to you, or why did you decide to? I'm a pass. What made you say that?
I didn't have time to be addicted to another show. So
okay.
Yeah.
The riches. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, time management. I don't have time for this and like the 4 other shows I'm watching. And between now and then, I think 2 of those 4 shows have gone off the air. But I picked up How to Get Away with Murder, and then State of Affairs. Is it State of Affairs with Alfre Woodard and Catherine Hepburn? I picked that up, which is really good. And I mean, I love the fact that Alfre Woodard is the president. Bam. What?
Right.
And
She's
so
also
I just
the president on another show too. On
what other show?
What was it? Gosh, it's the one where this naval crew is out to sea, and while they're out for like a year, there's this,
I never got to watch that, but that looked interesting.
Yeah. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I just don't have enough time to watch all the TV I'm interested in. But yeah, and so to me now it's past. I know, but still time management, and I'm like, you know what? Eventually the whole series will be on Netflix, and I'll just binge it then.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm all for Shonda making TV. Make it, girl. Somebody should be making it that looks like us.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be somebody who makes TV that represents everybody.
Right, exactly. And I think right now, that person is Shonda, from what I can see. Yeah, she's her characters are, well, first of all, they're just fascinating, and then I like that they're so diverse. That you have women of all ages and all colors, and it's just, I think Shonda is kind of that person right now, at least in network television. I don't know. I can't think of someone in Hollywood doing the same right now. Can you guys?
No. And what I like about her is she brings out a few taboo topics, and she's not afraid to bring up the interracial dating or the how should I put this? Because Cyrus, his relationship, that's new to television. If you know the character Cyrus. And so I think what she's doing is she's making it real for everyone and not just saying, okay, this is a white male-dominated show. It's about people of all walks of life having an opportunity to see themselves on television. Because it's even bigger than just having a black woman. I mean, there's now opportunity for gay America to see someone like them embraced on television.
Now, okay, I love Shonda and I love Scandal, but I'm gonna pick a little bone here because I find the relationship between Olivia and Fitz problematic sometimes.
It's all the time.
Well, true, very true. I'd say problematic in some ways that maybe Shonda or the writers didn't intend. I don't, as much as the show sort of embraces tackling polarizing subjects and embraces race in different ways and interesting ways. I think some of the dialogue between those two characters can sometimes be kind of problematic. There was a scene, I don't remember what season it was. It may have been last season or the season before, where he I think it was Olivia who said, and I quote, "I'm feeling very Sally Hemings in this relationship right now," which I'm like, like, do we really want to be comparing this relationship in 2014 to Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings and that? And there have been a couple of other, again, granted, these were isolated instances, but there have been a couple of other instances where I'm like, oh, I don't know. Do we really want to go here? Have you all noticed that? Or am I just being picky? I might be nitpicking. I admit that.
I'm usually intoxicated because I have to have my wine like Olivia has her wine. So I probably missed that one. And that's why I struggle with How to Get Away with Murder, because by that time, I'm gone. But
yeah, you do have to be sober for that one.
I need to watch that over again. But it's yeah, that one's a tough one right there. That was a tough
There was
one.
another one where they had they hooked up in, I want to say like in a closet at the White
I
House.
saw that one,
Ooh,
and he was being
Yeah.
an asshole that day. But you know what? I hate to say this, but a lot of women, if I don't care how bourgeoisie you think you are, if a
Mhm.
man came on to you that way, most of us would be like, "Oh, I've done that
I'll be right
before."
back.
So I think that she kind of touches on that secret life that women don't want everyone to see. Like, yeah, they'll even the bougie will sleep with somebody else's husband, uh, and they'll just let the man be dominant. I don't know. I pick it apart in a sense of what I've seen some friends go through. And you'd be like, very similar.
I guess I never really thought about it from that perspective. Okay, all right.
But now the one you mentioned, that was a bit much. That one,
Right, the Sally. Yeah.
that stung a little bit. It had a little sting.
Ironically, it's too soon. 200 years later, still too soon. Too soon.
Like, I can't come up with anything for that one.
Right. Too funny. Okay, now I guess my other, and that's really kind of a personal. I don't like Fitz. He's weak. he doesn't know what he wants.
That's
He's very childish to me. Like he seems. I love that scene. I think it was last season where her dad just goes off on him and goes, "You are a boy." I love that speech. I love it. And I'm like, yeah,
write them down.
down.
Now that's someone who I think should be getting a lot more recognition nowadays. Is Pope.
Right?
That brother has me taken every time I see him. Like this last one was, before they went on the hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
For him to just tell her, "I knew your plans," and walk out the restaurant like ain't shit happening. Beautiful.
Right. I love the scene where he gave her the gun and then she shot and he's like, "I don't believe you're about to shoot me."
Right.
But there wasn't a bullet inside. I was just like, wow.
Right. So
yeah, I almost feel like Papa Pope could have his own show. It could be like Scandal Papa Pope.
Right. And I would be there.
It would be fascinating.
With my glass of wine, I would be there. But
yeah, I love him. But that man, he can deliver a speech. He can really deliver a soliloquy. I love it.
He gave me so much life. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't really watch the Grey's Anatomy, but I think it brings something to the table because it's been around for a very long time, which I'm sure is like much of her success has come from the success of Grey's Anatomy for them to even give her opportunity with the other shows. But I think it's just awesome to see how we're being progressive. And I like to see a woman, especially African American woman, just be that person that we don't even see race with Shonda Rhimes anymore sometimes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like she's almost up there with Oprah. You know how after a while Oprah hit that fame to where women of all colors were like, whatever Oprah does, I'm going to do. I think Shonda is starting to build that, and I love to see that we can look beyond the fact this is a black woman, but this is some really good television, regardless if you like it or not.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's pretty awesome to see that.
Oh yeah, I love it. But I do have to admit, I gave up on Grey's Anatomy a few seasons back, so.
I never gave it a chance, but
I used to watch it a while ago. But actually, I think I kind of lost patience when they fired Isaiah Washington. That kind of I didn't like that. So
yeah,
that's when Grey's lost me. Yeah.
But
we're just talking about Grey's and Scandal, Sydney.
Oh, two shows I don't watch. I tried to watch Grey's Anatomy. At the time, I just wasn't a fan. Still not.
I watch it right before Scandal comes on. That 5 minutes.
Yeah. I did try. I gave it a good 3 episodes, but I was like, man, there's more hooking up in here than medicine. I'm done.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. It was just kind of scary. Like, what?
Well, I mean, Scandal's like that too.
I think it is. my grandmother used to watch it, and there's certain shows when you watch with your grandmother, you just feel uncomfortable.
I could never watch that. Oh my God. Oh, geez.
So I think that's where that whole turn off came from me, because she would watch and I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to leave. So that just stuck in my head like, I'm not going to watch it.
I don't know what they're doing.
Right?
Yeah. I once watched a movie with my dad. I didn't know there was going to be like gratuitous sex in it. I just knew it was an action movie. Yeah, I just knew it was an action movie, and then it's like gratuitous sex here, gratuitous sex over there, gratuitous violence over here, more sex over here, and I was like, yeah, this is not playing well.
Right?
Mm-mm.
That will turn everything. Where you're like, I don't even want to watch it.
Yeah.
Too funny. That is hilarious. All right, so let me grab another one. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but it's kind of a fascinating roundup of, Black women doing great things in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really good names on here too.
Can I shout out one? Lupita. Represent Lupita for my dark-skinned girls. Yes.
And she's on the list. She is number 5.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list and I'm like, yes, represent for us.
Yeah, and now she's the face of Lancome, which I think is remarkable. It's like, what?
I've never heard so many dudes talk about someone being so beautiful of a dark complexion until she stood up and said, when she started to win and when people started to see how beautiful she was, it just made the dark-skinned girls stock go way up. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to be honest. Like, it was different, and I loved every bit of it.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love what she represents as far as, like, beauty diversity.
Right.
I love it. Yeah. Miss Sydney?
I'm sorry, I'm reading the list, so I got kind of caught up in all the names on here, but I love the fact that there's so many women of color on different stations and different roles on different shows. Mm-hmm. It's like they're not all dramas or they're not all catty characters. My personal favorite is Nicole I'm gonna say her last name wrong. Ben-Hari on Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah,
I love her character on Sleepy Hollow because she's really strong, but she's in no way, to me, kind of that stereotypical sister girl, snap her fingers. Exactly. You're not gonna do that to me, put her hand on her hip, that kind of thing. Exactly. She's such a strong character, but not in a traditional Black trope way. That I just love it. I love it. And then Laverne Cox on Orange is the New Black. Please. I'm so mad she's so fabulous. She's so much more fabulous than me, yeah.
Laverne Cox makes prison hair look good. Like, how do you do that?
It's like, you got your weave so hooked up. There are women in the streets who need to come to prison to get their weave hooked up.
Exactly. Yes.
And then reading about Aaliyah Atkinson. I've honestly never heard of her. Don't really keep up with swimming, but she's the first Black woman to win a swimming title.
Oh, yeah.
FINA, and I was like, wait, what? There was a Black woman who did that? How did I miss that? But she won, and I'm like, that's awesome, because how many times do you hear people say Black people don't swim?
Especially Black women in their hair. So I
because my brother, when he was in high school, he was the only kid on the swim team, the only spot of color on the swim team.
Really?
Yeah. And people all the time, Black people don't swim, and I was like, I've been swimming since I was 1 year old. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah. But okay, so. Mm-hmm.
And we have to give kudos to Kimberly Bryant, and that's with the Black Girls Code. I think that is by far the most awesome program I've seen for young girls, because it's totally outside the box of norm, and we need to see more African American girls know there's other opportunities out there for careers, and I think that's pretty awesome. So she's also on the list.
Yeah, the only bad thing I'm going to say about Black Girls Code is I was so excited when I heard about it. I signed up to be a volunteer, and then I saw it was only in LA, and I was like, dang it.
Well, they had it at UTD. They had
They did?
they've had twice because I have followed. They've had it in Memphis, Tennessee, San Francisco.
Well, that's right. They did do like a workshop for a weekend. Yeah.
Oh.
So they'll do it every blue moon, but I also kind of think it consists of who's in that city to support it. So they have been in Dallas. They've done them in New York, and I'm really proud because I'm from Arkansas, but I lived in Memphis for many years, and I'm an alumni from University of Memphis. FYI, we won a bowl. Hey, but what I think is very important that there's a lot of poverty in Memphis, and to see that those young kids are being exposed to certain things like that, to me is beautiful. So I kudos to that because I see a lot of young girls who don't have a whole lot as far as role models that are realistic to them, and now they get to see other opportunities outside of some of the traditional professions, and now get to see, okay, technology is growing, so we've got to ensure that our kids are just as educated in technology, so they have an opportunity. So kudos to that one.
Yeah, she's one of my personal heroes. I actually teach her in my class, and on our lesson about diversity and inclusion in technology. And so she comes up very often in the class I teach at UTD. Yeah, I saw that she did a couple workshops here in Dallas. To my knowledge, there's still not a permanent Dallas branch yet. And I know that the organization is in each individual city where it's at is staffed by volunteers. But I do know that they're working on getting a Dallas branch up and running. So if you guys have some time and maybe want to, help, that might be a worthy project to get involved with.
I struggle with code, so I'd be learning with the children. So
you and me both. I know enough to be dangerous. I know enough to break stuff. So
I know how to get what is the first few letters of code, and after that I'm done. But I can hand out refreshments that day.
Well, every little bit helps. So yeah, but I feel you. I do. I totally do. Awesome. Okay. So I also just want to take a moment to shout out my special, I don't even know what to call this segment, but the segment where we honor Black women of color doing something great. I don't know. We don't have it. We should come up with a name for that. But anyway, last week I shouted out the 5 African American Rhodes Scholars. Woohoo! Yay! This week I'm going to shout out Little Miss Monet Davis, becoming Sports Illustrated's Kid of the Year and being on the cover of Sports Illustrated Kids. And if you all don't remember, she is the African American girl who was the first female and the first female of color to pitch in a World Series game. Was that her?
Yeah.
That was her accomplishment in 2014. So that young lady is doing awesome things, and I'm so very proud of her. So just wanted to take a few moments to say congratulations, Miss Monet. I call her Mo. I probably shouldn't because I don't know her personally. But way to go, Mo. Woo.
And just to interject, I think it's been really good how people have supported her from different brands, because wasn't it Chevy who did a little mini docu on her and her family? I think that's awesome. I think it's shining a positive light on a community that really needs it right now.
Right. Yeah, and I loved seeing all the little kids of all races, both boys and girls, wearing her number at the World Series.
Yes.
I thought that was just so cool. So yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's see what else we got on the a bit of side-eye. I have some side-eye for you guys. 2. So you guys want to talk about Revlon?
Oh, girl, he smells black people.
Wait, what now?
Why don't you take it away, Sunny?
Well, okay, so I've been reading a few things, catching a few of my podcasts, and I hate that I don't have the gentleman's name in front of me. But isn't it the CEO?
Yes, it is. Lorenzo Del Pani.
Yes, he.
Google
I
it.
think, was it one of those situations where it was like another email situation, and in the email it was like referencing how he could smell black people when they entered the room. And I kept thinking, so I know my cocoa butter may have a scent and this coconut oil I'm wearing, but really? What other scent do we have? So, yeah.
Apparently Negro.
Right?
American Negro.
What does American Negro smell like?
That's
Well,
what
we
I'm
would
trying
have
to
to ask
wonder.
Mr. Lorenzo Del Pani, CEO of Revlon. So I'm not sure. I don't know.
I mean,
Let me go to
okay.
my cabinet.
Okay, so as a school teacher, there is a certain scent that kids have because, you know, they're going through that change and they don't wash.
Mm.
Or they do wash, but they don't put enough deodorant or don't put on deodorant.
Mhm.
And you know that smell some boys can have where it's like you smell like dirty hamburger?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So is he just talking about funky people around him? And, you know,
Let me find the quote.
like a black person walked by him once and he was like, oh, that's the smell of black people, is just that funky person?
'Cause I couldn't read all of it because I was like, wait a minute.
Well, let me read you the opening paragraph of the article on theroot.com. And let's see here. So first, the title, or the headline, is CEO of Revlon believes he can smell blacks when they walk into a room. Lawsuit claims. So first of all, he's being sued by an employee of Revlon, an executive, for discrimination, and I believe wrongful termination. And, let's see, Revlon isn't having the best start to the new year, with an explosive lawsuit launched against the company claiming that CEO Lorenzo Del Pani, I think I'm saying that correctly, made several derogatory comments and believes that he can smell black people when they enter the room. He doesn't mention what we smell like. Del Pani reportedly made the comments in 2013, shortly after taking over the company. According to a lawsuit filed by Alan Myers, 56, former chief scientific officer at Revlon, Del Pani reportedly wasn't fond of America and couldn't get back to a real country. Del Pani is Italian, so he's not from here.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes on to make some problematic statements about Jews, and he fired this guy who's suing them. So yeah, he's just an equal opportunity racist, anti-Semite jerk. Yeah. So yeah, but no, he doesn't mention how he can smell black people or what he thinks we smell like. But apparently that nose of his is, you know.
Yeah, I'm reading an article on The Independent, which is a UK paper. It says here that Myers alleges in the lawsuit that Del Pani referred to Americans as small-minded and dirty, and that on one occasion he was surprised at the lack of Jewish executives at Revlon because Jews stick together, apparently making reference to Ron Perlman, Revlon's billionaire, blah, 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 who is also Jewish. So apparently he doesn't like Jews or Americans or black people.
Or smelly black people, right.
And they might necessarily even be smelly. Like it's just...
Right. Smelly to him.
Yeah.
Super nose.
Senselessness. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So yeah, I'll be tracking that one just to see how it plays out, and maybe to find out how we smell, because that's pretty interesting. Okay.
You know, I want to tell people who like go on these racist tirades or classist tirades or nationality tirades that if you're going to say some stuff, first of all, never put it in writing.
Right.
Second of all, go to a place you know where people won't record you, like in your home.
Right.
Don't even like go to your restaurant. Go to your house, in your office. Invite your closest friend who will either disagree with you or agree with you and say that stuff to them. And
No,
that's
invite your
where it
friend who will
stays.
agree with you. I think Donald Sterling would
Oh,
maybe
girl.
argue with that one.
Well, I mean, like, it wasn't his best friend, it was his mistress. That was stupid. He should have called his best buddy. Who still would have been like, man, that's not cool. But he wasn't going to
Right.
record him and then release it to the media. I mean,
Well,
because
he probably didn't think she was going to record him either, but
look, she's the side chick. She's the side chick. She gonna do whatever she can for leverage. All I'm
Right.
saying is that if one of my
These
best
hoes ain't
friends,
loyal.
right? Thank you. If one of my best friends called me into their like room, office, bedroom, whatever, and like went on this racist tirade about how they hate white people, they hate gays, they hate whoever, I let them finish, and I'd be like, you know, that's not right, right? You know good and well I don't agree with you. Okay, did you get it all out? Okay, I'm gonna act like I didn't hear anything you just said in this room. I understand you needed to get it out. Let's leave it here. You know, and that would be it. I wouldn't bring it up ever again. I wouldn't expect them to ever bring it up either. And that would be it.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna see your list. I'm gonna add to it. I'd like to see people who say problematic things and get caught on it to, number one, do an actual sincere apology and not the sorry not sorry trend. The whole I'm sorry if you were offended. Well, okay, let's just pause for a second. What the hell is that? Of course someone was offended. That's why you're apologizing. So to say, I'm sorry if you were offended, why not just say what you really want to say, which is F you?
Right. I'm not apologizing.
Exactly.
I'm not apologizing.
And
you were offended, and I'm not apologizing.
And corporations are so quick with the non-apology, the sorry, not sorry. I'm just, I hate that. Have you all noticed that?
Yeah.
The PR doing their job cleanup. They really don't give a damn. And you know what's so funny is like, I've been listening to some podcasts who've been going over like 2014 and whatnot. And the first thing they say is, so we're acting like we're surprised they say this stuff? Like, it's like, the only difference is I've gotten busted. And I'm never surprised when I hear or see these things. It just becomes one of those things where, oh, damn, got busted, huh?
Right.
And you just move on. Because they're going to do it again.
Right. Which brings me to my other bone. Okay, so when some celebrity or politician or corporation says something sideways and gets caught on it, it drives me crazy when the first thing they say is, I have freedom of speech. I have freedom of speech. Correct. You do. You are free to say something stupid, and I'm free to call you an asshole. And I really wish people would research what freedom of speech actually meant.
Yeah, because you're not free.
Something offensive.
You're not free from consequence.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, say whatever the hell you want. Just know that you also might get punched in the face, which is a consequence of you saying whatever you want.
Right.
And that's my freedom. So you're free, I'm free. We're all free. Let's be free together.
But if anything, this is a wake-up call. Also, in essence, they had like the Nielsen information, which the advertising kind of gives you an idea of what people are doing as far as their spending habits. And it says 43% of African American women control, they're buying pretty much for their households or whatever. And so that collectively brings out $430 billion that are spent in some of these corporations. So it almost lets you know, okay, girl, don't go buy that Revlon lipstick right now. Don't buy that foundation. Don't put your dollars into what they're talking about. Like, really get their asses where it hurts. And just kind of get an idea, like, I'm glad it wasn't L'Oreal because that would have hurt our girl Carol's daughter right now. But let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They all think that way about us. It's just like, okay, so what are we going to do next? We're just going to stop spending our money and let them kind of get that feel of disrespect us, then you can't have my money. How about that?
I like that.
Yeah,
Voting with your dollars. Yeah.
it is extremely inconvenient, but the best way is to not spend your money there. It is
True.
just to vote
And
with your
that's
dollars.
real. Because
Okay.
I'm
Mhm.
not. I get tired of like what you're saying, that First Amendment. You can play it so much, but like the same thing goes for with the Clippers. Just don't spend your dollars there with them until they can show some over respect and respect your dollars. Because the same thing applied, wasn't it in Atlanta, Georgia? Was it with the wasn't I don't know if it was the Falcons or the Hawks, but again, they were
It was
criticized.
the basketball team.
So it was the
Falcons.
Falcons.
Hmm.
No, the Hawks. The Hawks. I
Whoever
think
the
the Hawks.
basketball team is, the owner, he said something about he wanted to that the black people at the games were scaring away the rich white folks, and that's why
Right.
the team wasn't making the money they should have been making off of season ticket sales.
Right.
Was that
So
they
Really?
needed to stop playing music that catered to the urban audience. They needed to play stuff that, like, their key demographic they wanted to attract were like 40-year-old white males with money, because
right.
they needed to sell more season passes.
Yep.
And he wrote this in a couple of emails. It wasn't just one. He said this a couple of times. And this was right after what's his name on the Clippers. That all that came out.
Yeah. So it's just like, just don't put your money there. Spend it somewhere else. There's so many other places you can put your money for the same products, and just if they don't like our scent, damn it, we just won't wear your makeup.
Okay. Well, okay. In that same vein, because we've got another corporation that's kind of had a little misstep recently. This one is Target. Have you all heard about that one?
No, what happened?
Oh, about the ads with
Yeah.
Oh, with
for
Annie?
Annie. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I saw
wanna
that.
you wanna take that one, Sydney?
Yeah, I read about it today that some Sideeye to Target for making the ads for Annie
Side eye.
with white girls. Granted, it wasn't actually advertisements for the movie,
True.
or I think even the exact clothes from the movie, but clothes similar to it. And using the idea that this is for girls of all color, not just black girls. They made these ads with a girl wearing a red dress, and the girl wasn't black. She didn't exactly look white to me, but she definitely
No,
wasn't black.
I'm looking at it. This little girl looks Caucasian to me. And
Okay.
that's the Annie dress. That's the dress that Kavashane was wearing in
Okay.
the movie.
So people, drummed up a lot of signatures on change.org to have Target apologize to her and change the ads. Well, Target was like, nah.
That's you. Sorry.
We're taking the ads down because the campaign's just about over, and we want this to represent all girls, not just black girls. And we talked to, I can never say her name right, so I'm not going to say it at all.
Kavashane, I think.
Clavagene, yeah. And we've been in talks with her people, and she understands where we're coming from. I'm like, first of all, the girl is 10, 12, 11, 12,
Right.
something like that. She's 12. She doesn't understand where you're coming from. All right?
Right.
Because she's a little girl. So y'all need to stop treating her like she's a grown woman, because she's not. She's a little girl, and she said that herself.
Frankly, I don't understand where they're coming from. How can well, okay, I'm not gonna go ahead. Continue.
Well, I I don't want to get into this whole thing. Like, well, we need to have someone of each color in each ad to represent, so that we get all of the audience. I think what Target needed to do would be like, you know what? We hear what you're saying. We'll pay more attention to how we represent certain people
Right.
going forward. Maybe not necessarily an apology, but definitely something that made it sound like they heard people. Because that's not what, to
Right.
me, that's not what their response was. It was that we hear you. We'll be sure that we are a bit more sensitive to it in the future.
Right. Yeah, their response to me came off rather tone deaf, and problematic in that. Okay, I get what they're saying is they want the ads to be representative of everybody,
Hmm.
but what they said when they said that is that a little black girl can't represent everybody,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
problematic as you can get. So, I think they could have done a better job responding. I don't think an apology would have been, too much to ask, but clearly they do. And I took issue with that. But yeah, just the response was pretty tone deaf to me.
Yeah.
And I'm very surprised that Annie, their marketing did not make them uphold the whole format of the young. I can't say the little baby's name either. But yes,
I want to say Kavashige, but it's like that's not the girl's name.
I'm gonna call her Baby Q because I don't want to disrespect that baby's name.
Right.
But I'm very surprised that working in marketing and seeing how sometimes whenever you take a movie brand, you have to cross that all the way over because you're also doing promotion for the movie. So I'm very surprised that Annie's not more on the forefront of being upset that you did not cross that over, because Target should have had to pay dollars to Annie to even have that in their store. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm very surprised and shocked that they didn't make it all cross over so they could promote the movie and also, it's like placement advertisement. So I'm very surprised. Right. So I'm very surprised that they're not holding Target to a big to do about it when that's their brand and that's a movie that's out right now that they should be doing some heavy promotion on.
Exactly. Yeah, to me, just professionally, it seemed like a marketing 101. Like, wait, so we're going to ignore the star of the film completely? How is that even utilizing Annie's audience if you're going to ignore the star? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that having been a graphic designer and being in there and trying to find photos that represent more of the ideal than the exact, each exact race, I can understand where they're like, well, this is just supposed to be every girl. But at the same time, this is the first time Annie has been made in close to 30 years, and it's not the traditional. It's not a remake from the first one so much as it's a modernization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't have to do with Daddy Warbucks, and it's not the exact thing, and she wasn't really in a orphanage. I don't know if y'all saw. Have you ever seen the movie?
I saw it last week.
Okay,
Loved it.
Okay, good. I'm trying to get too much with spoilers. So it's not Daddy Warbucks, and she's not in an orphanage. She's in a foster home, and not everything is exactly as it seems from the first one to the second one, and so I understand it, but at the same time, it's like, look, y'all really should have you dropped the ball on this, and you should recognize that. And y'all shouldn't be like, no, this is not a problem. Y'all are making it up. No, we aren't making this up.
Right. Exactly.
This is not something that's just in our heads.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, awesome. Well, this has been a fascinating conversation with you ladies. Did you guys have anything you wanted to shout out or anything that we didn't cover that you want to cover this week? Anything new and exciting going on in your lives?
No, Fox News didn't have much to report outside of Air Asia, so I'm pretty much good.
Now, okay. I tried to watch Fox this week because of you, honey. I think I made it through about 5 minutes. I think I'm pretty good. I think I should be commended for that.
5?
Yeah.
How many did you get? 5 hours?
Oh, God. Girl, you trying to kill me?
I couldn't even watch local news for 5 hours.
I love that stuff. I'm not a Republican, but I like listening to Sean Hannity when I'm on the road, get a little bit of that talk radio, and I like a little Fox News. Now, I love Fox News early in the morning. Like when I would have to wake up early, turn that on, gets the day going.
One way to get the day going.
I don't like to start my day angry, so I'm not going to be watching Fox News first thing off the bat.
Right, I could slam my hands in the car door, but that wouldn't be productive either.
Slam my hand in a car door, yes.
It would be just as painful, though, I think.
I like Fox News.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, I did try to find some stuff this week, but there wasn't a whole lot of things that enraged me. I know I learned today about the Sony hack and how where the MPAA and the RAA had this plan, and they might still be trying to enact it. I'm not entirely sure, to take down Google, because they believe Google is like where all of the internet is stored, and they feel like if they take down Google, then they're going to stop internet piracy, and so like they're trying to make their own internet.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I was reading it. I hadn't got all the way through the article. It's on the Verge. Verge. It's on the Verge. Which is a news tech website. That details some of the emails and the gist of what the whole story is. But I mean, I was gonna buy a PlayStation until Sony was like, we don't want to put black people in lead roles because the world is racist. I'm like, no, I'm fairly certain that's just y'all.
Right. Well, way to scapegoat.
Right. And that Hollywood is like, well, if we shut down the internet, we'll stop piracy. It's like, no, if you make a product worth buying and then make it available to people as easily as you're trying to shut them down from getting it, then people will buy it. I can't tell you how many times I've read online where people were like, I wanted to buy this movie and I was going to buy it legitimately, or I did buy it legitimately, but then I couldn't watch it on the device I had.
Right. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, that drives me nuts.
It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah, those ultraviolet, like the Blu-rays I buy, they have ultraviolet versions of them, but I don't bother to download them because I know whatever device I want to, like whatever player I want to use on my computer, I'm going to have to download their proprietary player, and it's probably not going to work. And then if I get a new computer, like this one dies, and I get a new computer, they're going to be like, oh, this computer is not authorized to play this thing. I'll be like, you know what,
right.
I'm just going to rip it off the disc. How about that? Then I can play it anywhere.
Right.
Solved.
Yeah.
Right.
Jeez.
Well, speaking of Sony, it looks like, and I just saw this headline earlier this week, that the U.S. has officially sanctioned North Korea after the hack.
I saw that, yeah. I should say I started to read it, but I didn't get all the details.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to bring it up.
So, right. Right, just an interesting little tidbit there. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, the sanctions apparently have worked on Russia somewhat because, when the bottom fell out of gas, basically, and they were like, oh, we need somebody to buy this. They were like, hey, Pakistan, don't you need some gas? I was like, weren't you just throwing shade to Pakistan?
Right.
Okay. All right, whatever.
Awesome. Well, I mean, that's all I had for this week, so looks like, we're just over an hour, so I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks to our 2 viewers who tuned in and our viewer who asked questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will see you guys back here next week, same time, same channel. Peace out. Happy 2015. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.